What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of The Rich Life. I am your host, BRich, here on the let's bring that back. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of The Rich Life. I am your host, BRich, here on the Rich Life podcast. I want you to have a rich mind, rich body, and a rich spirit. Guess what? And we back, and we back, and we back, and we back. We are back, and hopefully we're back more consistently. I know I told you guys to keep me accountable, and you guys didn't, and I kind of fell off a little bit, but I'm back at it again. I want to get back to bringing you guys this content, and also I want to be more consistent for myself with bringing you guys this content, because this helps me just as much as I want it to help you. So yeah, we back with a brand new episode, and this week we're going to talk about therapy. So my first instance with therapy was in college. I was a freshman in college, and as an athlete, I wasn't really doing well athletic. Well, I was doing okay, but I don't think I was doing as well as I wanted to, and I was dealing with I guess some insecurity with myself and my ability and my talent. And I brought this to my coach, and luckily on campus we had a sports psychologist available to student athletes to talk to. So she suggested that I go and talk with him, and it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life, because it shined light on so many different things in my life. And I prior to me addressing these things to my coach, I had no idea that I was suffering the way that I was. Like, I knew school was kind of hard to transition from high school to college, and just like the workload, and then being a student athlete, all of those transitions kind of happened at one time, and trying to navigate and adapt to those things became really hard for me. So I brought that to her, like I said, and I made an appointment with the sports psychologist. And let me tell you, from the very first session, it was just digging in, uncovering things, being able to really just have an outlet, have an outlet, unbiased outlet, not worried about if I was gonna be judged or any of that stuff. So I remember at the time, like I said, the main thing was performance, track performance and academic performance, because up until that point, my main identity was in academics, and my main identity was in track and field. So those two things weren't going right for me. So I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I was doing, because that's all I had known. The main things I had been identified, and that's who made me Brianna at the time, and that's who made me have a sense of accomplishment or whatever in the world. So I think, like, within the first few sessions, I was able to see that the academics and track and field, those were just like my outlet. But deep down, I was affected by some things that happened in my childhood, and then my relationship with my mom, which I've already talked about a little bit more. I've already talked about in a couple episodes ago. But all of that was playing a part in my performance as well. It was showing up. It was showing up as stress, and it was showing up as poor performance. Just all of those things that I wasn't aware of, and I had no idea that at that time. I had no idea that things that we go through in our past affects who we are, shape who we are as people. Of course, we have experiences and all of that, but I didn't know those two things was how I showed up in the world, or those experiences that I had when I was younger was how I showed up in the world. So I had things like Katrina. That was one of the pain points that was suppressed. I had my relationship with my dad. That was something that was suppressed. The relationship with my mom was suppressed. The relationship with my stepdad, and not having the outlet or not knowing how to express myself when those things were going bad. All of those things were suppressed down. And then of course, I'm gonna just say from my experience, I was taught, oh, you don't have no feelings, or don't speak out of term, and all of those different things. So when I got older, I didn't realize it, but I was not speaking up for myself. I was just letting things fly by, because as a child, it was constantly ingrained in me to just be quiet, don't talk back, and all of that. So I unknowingly took that with me into my adulthood. And I'm just now, I'm not gonna say just now, but I'm still working on getting to the point where I can speak up for myself, and it doesn't make me a bad guy, or it doesn't make it doesn't, what am I trying to say? It doesn't make me it doesn't, like, I'm not bad because I am speaking up for myself, or is not meant to take away from somebody else's voice how I'm feeling, or whatever the case is. Like, I can speak up for myself, and that be it. Like, that's not me attacking anybody or whatever. It's just me saying how I feel in that moment. But yeah, so in those sessions we did a lot of digging. And I remember it was at first when I went, like, I knew I wanted to get better, but it was hard. It was uneasy. Like, just the vulnerability piece, like, I used to feel like I was really naked in there, like, just having to speak and undo those feelings. And you want to protect people as well. So if I'm saying something about my mom or my dad or whatever, it's like, no, they're not bad people. And at that time, it's like, oh, if I say something about this, then that means my mom's bad and she did horrible or whatever. But that's not the case. She knew what she knew how to do. Like, she didn't know that not to silence us, or give us a outlet to be able to speak, and all those different things. She didn't know. So a person can't really be accountable for something that they don't know. Now, once I was older and I told her about these things, if she chose to keep moving in the same way, then that's on her now. It's not on me anymore. But anyway, yeah, those sessions used to feel, I remember I used to always, when I really got to talking about, like, the in-depth things and all that, I would always feel like a heaviness on my chest. And that was really just, that needed to come out. That's that stuff that had been suppressed down. And if you notice, when you start, like, really talking to somebody, if you get a therapist, or like a really trusted friend, when you start talking about things, like, you feel the weight of that burden, of stuff that you suppress, you start to physically feel it. And one of the things the therapist, if you get somebody professional, they want you to feel that, and then they want you to know where at on your body are you carrying that. And it's just so amazing. They're able to, like, help you based on where that pressure is or pain is or whatever it is on your body, like helping you to bring it up. So I thought that was like something that's cool, and it's kind of like weird at the same time, because like how your body just feels the weight of things. But yeah, just getting to a point where I was okay with even going so deep in depth about those things. So yeah, I used to mainly feel it like in my chest, and it's about diving deeper. And he would ask me things like, what is that feeling, or like describe that feeling, and where did that come from, and just to try to get to the origin of these things. Because I will say this, therapy is not always like a solution to the exact problem, but what it does is it helps you to pinpoint, and sometimes it's creating just coping mechanisms and constantly uncovering these things until you get to the root. I will say talking to someone is not always the main solution. It's all about uncovering, finding ways that you can better cope, or finding ways to where you're just mentally, you are putting yourself in another place. For instance, when I say you're putting yourself in another place, so perspective shifts. That's what I mean when I say that, putting yourself in another place. Not really putting yourself in another place, but just thinking in a different way. So right now, I'm jumping ahead of myself, but maybe I'll just transition it to it now. So I've started therapy again. I've been back in therapy for about a month and some change now. It had been a long time. So all 4 years of college, I was in therapy. Then this is actually, I graduated 4 years ago in August, and I started therapy in June, either at the end of May or in June. So it's been 4 years, or three and some change. It's been 3 years and some change since I've had therapy. And I know, like, life isn't bad, circumstances aren't bad and everything, but I knew when I was getting therapy, I was just like in a much better place. I was uncovering, I was constantly doing self-work. So I've been I'm gonna say this, from our very first session, like stuff that I thought I had dealt with already and I thought I was over. From the very first session, she went to work on me, and I'm like, wait a minute, I was about to cry and everything. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought this was dealt with. I thought I was over this, but apparently, girl, you wasn't. But yeah, so we've been just like constantly doing more things. So I'm in a different season in my life than I was, of course, 4 years ago when I was in therapy. So this time around, what it is mainly just like perspective shifts. So a lot of times, like in my mind, for example, this is one that I brought up to her last week. So one of my things right now is creating content. So that's like my main goal for the rest of the year. Just create content. That's why I'm back at this, because I'm like, this is my way of creating content, getting stuff out there. So with that, I want to do like pictures and all of that so I can have stuff to post on my Instagram. So one of the things was, here we have this park called City Park, and it's usually like pretty busy with people throughout the day, of course, because it's a city park. So I was like, I want to go out there and take pictures, but I don't want people to be looking at me and judging me like, what is she doing and why is she doing that, and just my own personal insecurity is what it comes down to. Because I see people in there all the time, taking pictures, shooting videos, and because it's like it's a really pretty space in the city. So when I'm thinking about it, I'm like, I don't be like, oh my God, like, what are they doing? Like, I be like, oh, that's cool. You know, that's going to be a pretty shot or whatever when I'm just watching people do it. So, but my brain is people going to be judging me. They're not going to, you know, it don't really matter what people are going to think about it, because this is something I'm doing for me, or something that I'm doing to put out there anyway. This is to be consumed anyway. So what difference does it make? But anyway, my therapist was just basically like, what you have to do is change the way you think. So when you go out there, you got to think, oh, people are going to be like, oh, who is she? She must be somebody famous, or, you know, she is probably somebody that I could connect with. And, you know, I'm a personal trainer. So it's like, oh, she's taking these shots. I'm looking for a personal trainer, or I know a friend that's looking for a personal trainer. So maybe she can help me reach my goals, or she can help me get to this level of confidence or whatever. So a lot of it right now is that perspective shift. A lot of it's just me changing the way I think. And it sometimes it's not, like I said, sometimes it's not going to be, oh, like I could just get over this feeling. Sometimes it's just giving myself a new narrative to think about, rather than thinking about it in the negative, or worried about being judged and all of that. Just think about, oh, this is an opportunity for me to reach more people. I'm out here taking these pictures. Somebody might approach me and need my help. So it's just changing perspective for me right now. So I say all of that to say, yes, therapy sometimes is just going to be helping you find ways to show up better in the world, to where that thought is still may be there, but you're able to overcome that thought, or you're able to switch perspectives and give that, you're able to give that thought a different, you know, a different name, or just like turn it around. And this makes me think about something too. I'm reading this book right now. Can't think of Jim. It's by Jim Quick. It's basically how to learn fast. Limitless. There we go. The book is called Limitless by Jim Quick. And I just read a chapter, and it was talking about self-talk, negative self-talk, and all of that. And one of the things that I'm implementing is, when you have that voice in your head and it's telling you can't do something, or this is how people perceive you for doing this, or whatever it is, the book suggested, or Jim Quick suggested, that you give that voice, like you make that voice's ego so small. So like when that voice start talking to you, you like, I'm not gonna listen to no little fat, ugly, unsuccessful, bald head, stank breath, all of that, ugly. Like, you just make it, you give it a ego, you give that negative self-talk a ego that's so small that you're not going to listen to nobody talking to you with that small of an ego. So you give that ego such ugly characteristics, to where you have no other choice but to listen to the positive voice that's speaking, or to change it around, because you don't want to hear what that negative ego is saying, you know? So that's one thing I'm currently implementing, as well as just switching the self-talk around. So therapy, and even books, mentor people who've done this type of work, people who have knowledge about the mind and how the mind works. I would say to really dive into what these people are saying, and to take their advice and the mechanisms that they use and the keys that they give you, and really implement those. But also, going to therapy helps you put a name to certain traumas. usually when you don't know what's affecting you, you are more liable to still, like I said in the beginning, to still just be in that loophole or that funnel, and just going through it. But once you place a name to the trauma, once you place a name to what you're going through, then you're able to identify, like I just said, that ugly, that mean voice, that negative voice. Once you place a name to that, then that diminishes, that shrinks what that voice is able to do. When you put a name to your trauma and you start facing that trauma and dealing with that trauma, it minimizes the shame that you have from that trauma. It minimizes the effect that you have from that trauma. So going to therapy gives you different perspective, like I said, and it also, therapy is a neutral party. So it can be unbiased sometimes, but sometimes I am gonna say it's unbiased, because if you have a good therapist, they're gonna tell you when you're wrong, and they're gonna also let you know if you're right, and how to deal with things moving forward from your situation. So yeah, it also helps you with affirming it. Right now, I would say my therapist right now always, she helps me with my affirmation. So the type of the way I speak to myself, and this therapist that I have now, she is also helping me in business. So not only in personal life, but she is helping me to kind of like frame, I'm not gonna say frame my business, but making achievable goals. This is one thing. She's sneaky, but she not sneaky. I appreciate her for it. So I have these list of goals. I've had my list of goals since the beginning of the year. I made new goals, and just last month actually I revisited my goals and kind of reframed them based on where I am now, and where the year is. And some of them are big goals, because like I want to be able to accomplish certain things. But what she did was, when I was telling her these goals, she went back in and she basically kind of reframed these goals, made them more realistic for me. And like I noticed it, but I didn't realize she had did it on purpose. But she did this so that I can be successful. So just in case I don't reach a certain number, it doesn't make me feel bad, because she already had these other I'm not gonna say minimal goals, but it was just like a more real, I'm gonna say it is more realistic. So she is like accountability for me as well, because she sees where I want to go, and she wants to set me up to be as successful as possible. So sometimes you need those people in your corner that are going to, they want you to have that level of success that you want, but also they are going to make sure that you are being realistic, and that you can actually have success, and that you're not beating yourself up because you did not accomplish the goals that you wanted to. So I thank her for that, for looking out for me in that sense. But the last thing that I want to just hit on before I close out this episode is just some benefits of therapy. So I've already given you some. For example, helping you to put names to your traumas, helping you to uncover childhood traumas, or just things that you've gone through that you may not have affected you as much as you thought you were affected by it. They're able to help you see that they're able to help you reframe some of your perspectives, your mindset. Therapy helps you improve relationships, because now you're more comfortable speaking up for yourself. You are more mindful of other people. Also, you have improved productivity, because like I just said, she's giving me strategies to help me be successful. So if I'm receiving these strategies, then I'm able to be more productive and knock more stuff out in my day, because I'm setting myself up. Not only is she helping me set myself up to have success throughout the day and as the months go by and all of that, but I am able to be more productive because I do have these strategies and all of these things. So they're just like the benefits of therapy is just so endless. You're able to have more confidence in yourself. You're able to show up better in the world. You know, these are things that I mention all the time: showing up better, being confident, having improved relationships, because these are the things at the end of the day are what's going to shape you and help you to be the best person that you can be and have you to live a rich life. So it's just very important to have someone that's going to keep you accountable in this sense. Have somebody where you could talk to, and like I said, unbiased, and just bounce ideas off of, just all of these types of things. So I also, this is not paid or anything, but I'm using BetterHelp. I got a therapist through BetterHelp. I listen to a lot of different podcasts, and BetterHelp is one of the podcasts that you always hear mentioned in these episodes. In excuse me, sorry. You always hear BetterHelp mentioned in these different podcast episodes, and you can go on BetterHelp. And I'm not, I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but if you go on BetterHelp and you just scroll through and see a podcast that you do listen to, you can get a percentage off of your first month. And I highly suggest that you do it. And then they give you, if you what's the word called? If you tell somebody about BetterHelp and they use your code or whatever, you can get a free week or a free month or something like that of BetterHelp. And then it's actually a free week of BetterHelp. And then that person that if they sign up, they can get free BetterHelp as well. So it's just, therapy and mental health, it's just, help is all over the place now. So it's just no excuse why we shouldn't be having these conversations now, shouldn't be, uncovering things that we didn't know were affecting us. And we shouldn't be getting, it's just no excuse why we shouldn't be getting help. And I know the stigma is starting to die, but know that you're not crazy if you're talking to someone. Know that it doesn't make you a bad person if you need to talk to someone. And also just dealing with your feelings. Like, it's okay to deal with your feelings. It's okay to want better for yourself. Don't let people tell you that you shouldn't want more, or you shouldn't want to progress and all of that. Do what is best for you at the end of the day. And I've kind of rambled on long enough, so I'm going to go ahead and end right here. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, all of that good stuff, so that I could become more discoverable, and that I could keep bringing you these types of things. Hopefully this episode was helpful, and you're able to see the benefits of therapy, and also still do your research to understand what are some other girl what are some other benefits of seeking therapy other than the ones that I've mentioned. I've told you the benefits from my point of view, but other people might have different experiences with therapy, and it may have helped them in different ways than it has helped me. So thank you guys for tuning in. And like I like to leave you every single episodes, go out there and be rich.